Hi everyone, my name is Lakshmi Tulasi. I'm from second year CSCB bearing the roll number 573. So today I want to talk about frames in HTML from advanced Java programming. Okay, so let's start our concept or explanation. So here, so we can clearly see the HTML frame tag define the particular area within a HTML file where another HTML web page can be displayed. So a frame tag is used with the frame set and it divides a web page into multiple sections of frames, and each frame can contain different web pages. So do not use HTML frame tag as it is not supported in HTML5. Instead use HTML iframe, like use iframe tag or div with CSS to achieve similar effects in HTML. So yeah, as we can clearly see here, so a frame tag is used with the frame set tag in order to divide a page, like a web page, into multiple sections of frames, and it is generally basically used to create web pages. Okay, so let's move on and let's see the syntax of the frame tag. So the syntax is frame src equal to some URL, okay, which we give here, which is clearly seen here. So we can see a little example for this. We are using div here, div tag, and we given our HTML head style. This is we are giving CSS here, and which is internal CSS, and we're closing the head, body, and this is the first frame. So we are using the div tag in order to create the frame here, and the output is shown like this. Like we can observe the output like this if we written the code in that way. Okay, so this is generally the syntax. We give source. src is nothing but source. As URL, we give a URL here, which is unified resource locator. We know what unified resource locator is, so we give it here like a link or something. And this is an example code as this is an example code, and like this we can create a frame. This is to create mostly a vertical frame. In order to create a horizontal frame, we can do this. So we've given HTML head title, we've given a certain title and head. We use the frame set. Okay, frame set rows equal to 30%, 40%, 30%, frame name equal to top. So we are dividing 3 frames, first one top, and second one main frame, and the third one is bottom frame. And frame 1, and we are giving different frames for this. Like it's like we created certain frames and we are giving source as like these frames are source for this. And let's see, 3 frames are created. We already created some frames, and we are using frame set tag in order to combine all these 3 frames. So frame set tag is nothing but frame set is nothing but it's a collection of frames or number of frames, and it is used to combine different frames. We can, as we clearly can see here, this is the first frame, this is the second frame, this is the third frame. We have 3 frames, and we also allocated some space. Why this frame is smaller in size compared to these 2 frames is because here we given 30%, 40%, and 30%, okay, as size for these frames. So that's why it is they are in different sizes, okay, and the second frame looks bigger as it is 40% in size. So that's how we can do and work with these frames. So now let's see the attributes of frame set tag. And we have column, COLS, which is nothing but create vertical frames. It is used to create the vertical frames in web browser. The attribute is basically used to define the number of columns and its size inside the frame set tag. So the size or width of the column set in the frame set in the following ways. Is set in the frame set in the following ways. Use absolute value in pixel. So we can use percentage, we can use the values here. So frame set COL is equal to 300, 400, 300. We can also use the percentage values, which is 30%, 40%, and 30%. We can also use the wild card values, which are 30% star 30%, which means we are assigning 30% for the first frame and 30% for the last frame. Whatever the remaining space we have, we are assigning it to the second frame, okay, the frame which is in the middle, okay. So in the above, remaining percentage for the vertical frame. So the rows is to create the horizontal frames in the web browser. The attribute is used to define number of rows and its size inside the frame set tag. The size of rows or height of each row use the following ways. As we can see, there are 3 different ways to specify the size, which is value in pixels, and we can also use percentage, and we can also use the wildcard values, okay. So let's move on to another attributes, and we have border here. The attribute of frame set tag defines the width of the border of each frame in pixels. 0 value is used for no border. So frame set border equal to 4 frame set. That means the border size is 4. We have the border width size 4, okay, in a web page. So the frame border, this attribute of frame set tag is used to specify whether 3-dimensional border should be displayed between the frames or not. For this use or not. For this use 2 values, 0 or 1, where 0 defines no border, value 1 signifies for yes, there will be border, okay. So frame spacing. The attribute of frame set tag is used to specify the amount of spacing between frames in frame set. So we create different frames, we include different frames in a frame set. That means in a web page we include different frames, for example. So whether we need some space between these frames or not can be specified by using frame spacing. So this can be taken any integer value as a parameter, which basically denotes the value in pixels. So we have to only give the value in pixel. So frame spacing equal to 20. This means there will be 20 pixel spacing between the frames, okay. So let's move forward. So let's see the attributes of the frame tag. Okay, so the name attribute. This attribute is used to give names to the frame. It differentiates one frame from another frame. It is used to indicate which frame a document should be located into. So frame name equal to top, that means the name of the frame is top and we are giving some source for it. And the frame name equal to bottom, we are giving some source. Here we use 3 frames with the names as left, right, center. We can give different names here. Here we used left, right, and center. You can use any name. So SRC, this attribute in frame tag is basically used to define the source file that should be loaded into the frame. Okay, so the value of the source can be any URL. We can give URL, or we can also give .html, like a name with a .html if the frame set we are creating and the frame is in the same document, if in the same folder. If these 2 documents or files are in the same folder, we can directly give it with the .html extension, the name of the, we can directly give the name of the file, the name of the HTML file if they are in the same folder, or otherwise we have to use the URL, which is like a link kind of thing. So frame name equal to left, we given some source here. That by example, name of the frame is left and the source file will be loaded from that certain specific URL, okay. So margin width, the attribute in frame tag is used to specify width of the spaces in pixels between the border and contents of left and right frame. So the margin width, it is used to specify the width, okay, and we have to specify it in pixels, and the border and the contents of the left and right frame are specified here. For example, between the border and contents of left and right frame are specified here. So frame margin width equal to 20. This means we have 20 pixels of space, width of space between the border and contents of left and right frame, okay. So yeah. Margin height, the attribute in frame set is used to specify height of the spaces in pixels between the border and the contents of the top and bottom frame. So this is first one is used for width and second one is used for height. Okay, and scroll bar. We know why we use scroll bar. To control the appearance of scroll bar in frame, we use scroll bar attribute in frame tag. This is basically used to control the appearance of scroll bar. The value of this attribute can be S, no, auto, where the value no denotes there will be no appearance of scroll bar, and yes denotes yes we want scroll bar for this. Auto, it means if the web page exceeded the size, then we automatically get the scroll option, like we can automatically scroll it. Okay, so frame scroll bar equal to no, that means we don't want any scroll option here. Okay, so if the length of a web page exceeds the size of a certain device or monitor, like certain device, for example like monitor or whatever we are using, like an electronic device. Okay, so it could be monitor, it could be any electronic device we are using. If the length is exceeded, so we can use this scroll thing there. So let's see quickly the advantages and disadvantages of this frames in HTML. It allows the user to view multiple documents within a single web page. It loads pages from different servers into single frame set. The older browsers that do not support frames can be addressed using the tag. So the disadvantages, due to some of these disadvantages, it is rarely used in web browser. Frames can make the production of website complicated. So a user is unable to bookmark any of the web pages viewed within a frame. The browser's back button might not work as the user hopes. So the use of too many frames can put a high workload on the server, and many old web browser doesn't support frames. Okay, so these are all the advantages and disadvantages which we have to keep in mind before using frames in HTML. So thank you, that's everything about it, and this is everything I want to discuss in this seminar. Thank you so much.